Hey crew, Albert from Blue Stout, and today I want to talk to you about revenue from email and if you are leaving money on the table by not generating enough of your revenue from your email efforts. So what I want to break down for you today is, first off, let's look at your metrics. Let's talk about the metrics we look at to assess whether or not you are fully dialed in and optimized with the way that you are running email and driving revenue from email. And then let's talk about some areas that you can actually kickstart to start to drive up the amount of revenue that you're driving from your email efforts. And as always, if you guys have any questions about anything we're talking about on the video today, any questions about your email accounts or how you guys are managing your campaigns, go to bluestout.com/strategy. That's bluestout.com/strategy, and book a call with myself, somebody from the team. More than happy to take a look at your email accounts. We'll get on the phone live. We can talk through the metrics you're seeing and also give you some ideas for how you can drive more revenue from the current efforts that you're doing. So let's talk about metrics. First off, what's the overall, the benchmark overall metric we tend to look at is overall percentage of your total revenue, so total business revenue, online store revenue that's being driven from your email efforts. And the range we like to see, a healthy range, is typically somewhere between 25 to 35% of your total revenue on your store being driven through email efforts. Now, again, this can fluctuate a little bit depending upon how much you're investing in things like advertising. It's a percentage, so it's going to fluctuate. If you double your ad spend one day, then obviously you're going to see your revenue from email percentage go down. So we want to look at this in the aggregate. But generally speaking, brands that are doing well under 25% typically have a lot of room to grow when it comes to driving revenue from email. We have some brands we work with that do upwards of 40 to 45%, which is crazy. But it depends on the brand and depends on the vertical. But generally speaking, if you're well below that 25%, it means you have a significant opportunity. Also, if you're not doing a lot on the performance marketing side and you're only seeing 25 to 30%, you might have an improvement or an opportunity to get it up to closer to 40, just because you haven't dialed in all those components that we're just about to talk about. So first off, you look at that big benchmark, how much of revenue is coming from email specifically. Then we want to look at the split, right? So if you're looking at how much your revenue is coming from your campaigns, so this would be those manual campaigns that you're sending on a weekly, daily basis, versus how much that revenue is coming from your flows or your automations, right? So these are those emails that are fired automatically in the background based upon any sort of trigger that your customer is firing on an action they took. So they signed up for your list, browse abandonment, they left a product in their cart, so a cart abandonment, made a first purchase, second purchase, etc. All of those would be considered triggers that you would be then firing these flows and automations afterwards. We'd like to see a pretty even split, somewhere between 50-50, sometimes 40-60, between those two different email sources. So if you are looking at yours and you're seeing a drastic imbalance, right, like 70-30, 80-20, 90-10 of an imbalance between, say, like campaigns and flows, it probably means you have a lot of opportunity to optimize those flows and lift them up, or if it's the other way around, optimize those campaigns and drive more revenue and lift the pie even higher. So again, that's a big place we like to look at after the overall percentages. Which of those two is performing the best, and is there a massive imbalance? The third place we have to look is open rates. End of the day, if people aren't opening the emails, nobody's engaging with them, nobody's going to buy anything. Lots of factors come into play when we're looking at open rates. We always look at this from a general standpoint first, then we dig in more specifically. But if you're seeing open rates that are well below 20% consistently, it means there's definitely room for improvement on your campaigns. If you're seeing open rates that are well below 30% consistently on your flows, then you definitely have room for improvement on your flows. Generally speaking, we like to see open rates that are above 30% on flows. We like to see open rates above 20% on campaigns, generally speaking. There are circumstances where those would fluctuate and change, but again, we're looking at high-level benchmarks. And if you're seeing really low open rates on your campaigns, it's probably a pretty good sign that you're not doing a good job of segmenting your audience, meaning you're probably sending too much email to too many people, would be the first place to look there, or the actual content of those campaigns, the way that you actually structure those templates is really poor, and you're just getting sent straight to spam. So a couple areas we want to look at and focus on. And finally, if you see those numbers and all these metrics and you're saying, okay, we're definitely under the mark, what do we do and where do we start? The first place to start would be looking at your automations and your flows. The flows should be the highest performing of any email that you send, because again, they're being triggered based upon actions your customer is taking. So you want to focus on those first and get those dialed in, because those should be the most profitable. And then you want to focus on your campaigns afterwards. Generally speaking, sending more email is typically better. Generally speaking, more email means more engagement, more interaction, more product exposure, and eventually more purchases. Now, the only way you want to do that though is if you have really robust segmentations. So one area we see if a lot of new clients bring on board is that they have not spent time segmenting their list into engagement tiers so that you know exactly what to send to specific people on your list based upon where they are in their buying process with you. So if you're looking to actually increase revenue from your current efforts, the best place to look first is flows. How are they performing? Let's optimize those flows. Let's make sure we've built out all the flows that we need to cover our entire customer journey. And then look at your campaigns and determine how many of those campaigns you're sending. On average, we'd like to see at least 8 to 12 campaigns a month. For some brands, it's a lot higher than that. And we'd like to see the bare minimum 5 different segmentations of your list. Sometimes those segments can extend to 10 to 20, depending upon the size of the list. And that's what's going to allow you to send more email while maintaining very high open rates in engagement. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this helps you assess whether or not you guys are leaving any money on the table with email. If you have any questions, please go over to bluestout.com/strategy, book a strategy call with myself or someone from the team. More than happy to look at your metrics, determine where you fall, and whether or not there's room for opportunity for you to drive more revenue from email, which again should be your highest ROI sales channel.